It's less than 2 weeks to the autumn statement, and it promises to be a difficult moment for George Osborne, the Chancellor. As you can see, he looks a bit grim-faced here. Now, it's not because the economy is doing badly. In fact, the economy is doing better than was thought at the time of the budget. We're likely to get 3% growth this year, not 2.7% the Chancellor expected in March. But it's all about the public finances. As you can see from this chart here, we can see that the public finances have been improving since their low point in 2009, 2010. This shows the rolling 12-month sum. So every month we add on an extra month. And you can see at first it improved very quickly. Then we had a very difficult moment in 2012. But after then, it's actually stopped improving. And the forecast for this year is an improvement to about £87 billion deficit. But currently, we're running at a run rate of about £100 billion deficit, which is actually a little bit worse than the last financial year. So we're actually doing worse than the last financial year, not better. Now, the second chart I wanted to show you looks at this financial year so far. So this starts in April and it goes to next April. As you can see, we're doing slightly worse. There's been more borrowing this year than at the same point last year. The latest month, October, was slightly better, so things are getting slightly better, and we do expect the January figures to be quite a lot better than last year, because people who wanted to take advantage of the 45% tax rate when it was reduced from 50% will have delayed their income and paid it in April 2013, which they then pay the tax on in January 2015. So we are expecting January to be quite a good month for tax revenues, but overall things have been really rather disappointing this year. And it's not been in public spending, it's all been on the tax side. And if I show you the last chart, it's all been on in income taxes, the taxes on incomes, which are income tax and national insurance contributions. Now this chart is quite a good chart. It shows the most recent 12-month period and says what's the increase in the total of income tax and national insurance compared with the previous 12-month period. If we look before the crisis, we were sort of averaging roughly 6-7% growth in income tax and national insurance every year. That was faster than the economy was growing, because as people got richer, they were being dragged into higher rates of income tax and national insurance. Then we had the big crisis, and then we've had quite a good recovery since the crisis, better than we previously thought, and really quite good in recent years. But look at the income tax and national insurance growth. Very, very low, 1-2%. It's got to get up to 5% to meet the target for this year, and it probably won't, or in fact we know now it basically certainly won't. So what's been going on? Why have income taxes been so disappointing? They've also been disappointments in North Sea oil revenues and in some sort of stamp duties on property, because those oil prices have been falling and housing transactions have been weaker than thought. But it's the income taxes that's the real problem for George Osborne. And the real problem is people are working. We've had a much faster than expected growth in employment, but on low wages. And that's where you don't get a lot of income tax, particularly because the government has increased the personal allowance, the tax-free element you get before you have to pay an income tax. And so though we've had a recovery, we're not seeing it in income taxes. So what does this mean for George Osborne? It means when he goes to the Commons to give his autumn statement, it's almost certain he's going to have to say that borrowing will be worse this year than he thought. And given that borrowing, reducing the deficit, was the primary thing this government wanted to do, this Parliament, it's going to be a difficult statement indeed.